This podcast is brought to you by Sideline Productions, who provide national, regional, and local events with large modular LED displays, as well as live production services. Visit them at sideline-productions.com. And by Skipping Stone Studios, storytellers from Brookings, South Dakota, providing businesses, organizations, and nonprofits with video, post-production, and photography. Bring your story to life and visit them at skippingstonestudios.com. Welcome, everyone, to this week's 1 Million Cups podcast. I may sound a little different, and that's because I am on site at an event, and I had to record this directly to my laptop, but I didn't want to keep the show from you guys. This week, we had Luke Davidson and Dan Stratton from Chow Delivery joining us to discuss their new business here in Brookings. They came up with a simple but genius idea. They're basically delivering food from Brookings restaurants to Brookings homes.
Excellent. All right. Well, first I'd like to thank everybody for coming out. Like both of our previous speakers have mentioned, it's cold as heck outside, so really appreciate you being here. I am Luke Davidson. This is my business partner.
I am Dan Stratton.
And friend, of course. Dan and I are both Brookings High School graduates. We both attended South Dakota State University, myself for International Affairs, Dan for Economics. So you really don't get any more homegrown than our business, Chow Delivery. What we provided for you today and what I'm going to go through on each table is a little handout. And this handout is essentially what we presented to our business partners. At launch, we have 4 restaurants. We have the Pheasant, we have Cottonwood Bistro, we have Guadalajara's, and we have the Old Market Eatery. Coming up shortly thereafter will be Cubby's and the Ram, so don't worry, Cubby's fans, they will be delivering. But what I thought I would do is just go through this with you guys. It really presents everything about our business, everything that we're really trying to do, all of our main points, and then afterwards open it up for Q&A. So follow along on the slides, it kind of makes sense. And I'll try and dual wield mic and sheet here. The first point here, our mission statement is to provide restaurants and their patrons with an affordable means of food delivery. Simple, right? Makes sense. We just want to bring a service that people here in town need and want. Our business goals is that we're committed to providing additional revenue to our restaurant partners. This isn't something where we're knocking on their door and asking them to fund us and we're asking them to help us get going. We're really trying to build up our partners. We're really trying to provide them with a new form of revenue, something that they don't already have. And then secondly, and obviously, we're trying to provide the community with a much needed service. I don't know how many times I'd been sitting at home on a Sunday really wishing that I could have some Guadalajara's brought to my door and not have to leave. I'm sure many of you here have shared a similar experience. Our commitment to our patrons is very important. Now, for me, I have experience in food delivery and in working in restaurants, and so there were a few things that I knew from a firsthand experience would be very, very important to our customers. First off, quality. Nobody wants cold food, and so we ensured by buying top-of-the-line hot bags. Dan, I don't know if you want to illustrate this here. Thank you, Vanna. Our hot bags, they are thermal insulated, they are high quality, they have a divider in them for hot and cold items to separate salads, pastas, etc. And I mean, that's a big thing. We really wanted to stress that our food would be arriving hot and fresh. Professionalism. At the end of our presentation, we're going to kind of walk you through our website a little bit. We don't have a storefront. We're really a 21st century business. We don't have an actual business front. Our entire investment went into making sure that our website was absolutely professional, functional, and logical, and I really think that we succeeded in doing that. It's really top of the line. Timeliness. So timeliness is the other big factor. Having worked in pizza delivery, I learned that people are not very happy when you show up very late with their food. And the way that we ensured this is on the back end of our system, on the back end of our site, is a highly developed dispatch page, a system that automatically sends emails to the restaurant that has their entire order listed there so that there's no loss in communication effect, so that they see exactly what the customer orders from our site. We have the ability to dispatch to our drivers who are on the road. Our drivers immediately receive a text message that tells them where to go, where they're taking it to, if they're paying with cash or card, and any special delivery instructions. And we thought that was very important to make sure that the whole system was seamless and streamlined and effective so that we could be as timely as possible. The other point to mention in there is that our food orders are not placed until a driver is on the way to get it. In other words, your food will never sit in the window waiting to be picked up. Our driver will sit there and wait to get it. So you might see a 45 to an hour long wait time for your delivery, but that's because the order wasn't placed until about 45 minutes after you'd actually made it. But the whole point of that, again, is to ensure quality, to ensure that the food arrives fresh and hot. Convenience, this one again is another no-brainer. Of course, we're trying to make your lives easier, to add more choice and to add more convenience to your daily lives, something we think is very important. Our commitment to our restaurant partners. Now, again, we want to generate extra revenue for them, but at the same time, we represent them. We represent their brand. We represent their food, and we wanted to make sure that we did so in a quality manner, and that's where quality assurance comes in. We have systems in place to track all user experiences. If a customer has a poor order that they feel wasn't quite right, we have a system in place to take care of that, to make sure that their needs are met, and to make sure that the restaurant knows about it. That way we can ensure that their reputation stays as sterling as it already was. Secondly, flexibility. Obviously, Dan and I aren't a couple of corporate honchos. We're just a couple of guys from Brookings who wanted to start a company. And what that allows us to do is be flexible with our restaurant partners, to change and grow and adapt based on what they need. And we've already done that as we've been growing. We have changed a few of the ways that we thought we were going to do things to better fit our restaurant partners. And it's really been quite nice, working with the really creative minds that own restaurants here in Brookings, getting suggestions from them. It's been fantastic. It's really been a collaboration. Growth, obviously, we're not looking to take people out of their seats in the restaurant and get them to order from home. We're trying to get the people who are sitting at home who wouldn't order anyways. We're trying to get that extra market that hasn't been tapped. So nowhere are we really trying to shrink their business. We're only trying to grow it. Advertising, that's another thing that's really kind of become apparent as we've gone through this, is that we've developed a great advertising platform. Our website, in fact, go ahead and scroll down quick there, Dan. Our website would put any new restaurant in town on page with all of the bigwigs. I mean, you've got Guadalajara's, you've got the Pheasant, you've got Old Market, you've got Cubby's. Well, any new person coming to town who wants to get their brand out there, who wants to be known, what better way could there be? I mean, you're on page with everyone else, and it really does get yourself out there, as well as your full menu, so that's fantastic. Flipping over to the other page, the other side. Our professionally designed order process. I kind of went through this, but I can, in fact, actually this would be a good point to go through with the website. So I'll show you here, and if you can't see it, that's fine. I'll have you pull it up on your phones later. But so it's pretty simple. You pick a restaurant. Now, the common question, can I order from more than one restaurant? No, not with one order. That, again, is to ensure that your order is fresh and hot. It's too much of a logistical nightmare to try and get 3 different places and get it there at once. So you can place from one restaurant at a time. You can place multiple orders, but they'll show up at different times. So you select what you want. You have to meet a $15 subtotal minimum. That's so that we make sure that we're really getting the larger crowds that we're trying to target. You select your options, you place your order, and I'll blow through this. We'll go through it at the end there. But once you've placed your order, you create a user account if you don't already have one. And it's very simple, just like creating a user account anywhere else. At that point, we receive notification that your order has been placed. The restaurant is automatically emailed, a driver is dispatched, and your food is being made. So it's a very seamless, easy process. We do have a system in place for taking phone orders. It's essentially the exact same thing. If you call us, we'll just go through our site and enter it for you. We're really trying to push as much business as we can to the website just to make things as easy as possible for us and for our customers. So in summary, we hope to add a direct addition of revenue without any additional costs. That's the biggest thing we've been pushing to our restaurant partners, is that we really we're not looking for them to open up a delivery center in their business and to expand their kitchens. We're hoping to just hit that niche that they're not getting already. We hope to give people a broader reach of their business throughout the community. Seems pretty apparent. I mean, there's probably a lot of people who have been in town for a short time who maybe don't even know that Old Market Eatery is a place to eat. Well, hopefully this will be a way to let them know. And that kind of goes along with the next point there, that this is an opportunity to introduce businesses to new local patrons. Brookings is growing. I mean, every year it's getting bigger. It's expanding outward. And that's new people that don't necessarily know the things that the rest of us take for granted, that the Pheasant has excellent chislic, or that Guadalajara's burritos are amazing. I mean, this is a way to let them know that. The next point, we really do want to specialize in large office catered orders and at-home orders. Times when there's 6 or 7 of you sitting around and you have to stay there over lunch, but you can't leave. You don't want pizza, you don't want Jimmy John's. That's what we're here for. We want to help facilitate things like that. As an employer, it's definitely not a bad idea to keep your staff there over lunch. I mean, we know people are more productive, and it helps. The next point really comes into play today. Days like today, when the weather is so nasty, that's when we really hope to benefit our restaurant partners the most. I think days like today is why we'll hopefully be successful, because I know I wouldn't want to go outside if I didn't have to. We're financially positioned for our initial growth, and that's something that I want to make as a promise to the community, that we're not here to get you hooked on a great new idea and then disappear. We're here to thrive and to grow and to really hopefully become a part of the community. And the last part there, we are locally owned and operated. Like I said at the beginning, Dan and I are absolutely homegrown, and this is something where we're very proud of Brookings, and we're very proud of the partnerships that we've developed with these different restaurants. And we think that Brookings is at a higher standard, I think, than other places, and we really want to uphold that value and uphold that standard and give the people of Brookings the same experience that they would expect going to any of these restaurants. So I know I steamrolled you there. That was a lot of stuff. Dan, do you have any points to make? And
we are looking to hire right now, so if you know anybody that could, 16, 17, 18 that would like to do delivery driving and has car insurance and a smartphone, we're looking for drivers, so get the word out.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, and college students as well, it'll be a great job. Really, you're on call. You don't have to make food. You don't have to really deal with customers a whole lot. It's essentially driving from point A to point B. We really think that it would be a great job for anybody that needs some extra money. Well, obviously, just letting people know about it. I mean, we know that people don't change the way they eat overnight. We know that this is going to take some time for people to get used to. But just telling people about it, saying if you hear someone saying, "God, I'm gonna order some Jimmy John's," say, "Well, hey, you could order Guads, or you could order just get the word out there." And then, like Dan said, obviously we're looking for potential employees. I guess. Anything else you can think of, Dan?
Yeah, Facebook, Twitter, social media, stuff like that. We've already had a lot of hits on that. So if you could go to 1 Million Cups and promote us, or even go to Chow Delivery and like us and promote us that way, that would be very great.
And to the customer, it's a $4.99 delivery fee. So compared to anywhere else, not bad. And if you get a larger order, the delivery fee does scale up, but that's to cover our merchant service fee, which I'm sure any business owners here understand that gets very expensive when you're swiping cards at 2.7%. So, but we can split orders up, so it's pretty easy to, a $7 delivery fee becomes $1 per person, essentially. Actually, we have an outside consultant that we reached out to who lives in Florida and one in Utah. Grubhub, no, not specifically. A few other places we did garner some information from, but the site we built from the ground up. The system we built from the ground up. We use Square as our processing system, and Square did just announce that they are going to be doing gift cards, because I'm sure you're thinking exactly what my dad was thinking, which is that a gift card for Chow now is an awesome idea because you can use it almost anywhere. Obviously you have to use it from home, but it's a gift card to Cubbies, to the Pheasant, to the Ram. So yes, eventually.
One thing we're looking for gift cards is we know the college students come in and parents like to buy cards for their kids so they can have food, hobo-do and stuff like that. So I'm kind of looking at you, Nick Wendell. I know you work at SCSU. Any way that we can get involved with SDSU, especially with the gift cards, and try to maybe target parents a little bit on that, would be great help. So if you have any information on that, yeah.
What one of our close family friends told us was that there's a way to do an app where it's literally push a button and it launches to our mobile site, which our site we developed to be responsive. In other words, it'll work on your smartphone, it'll work on your iPad, it'll work on a TV, obviously. And so we're hoping that we can figure that out, but short answer is no, not yet. We actually, I've got an idea for an interesting way of building a loyalty program. Unfortunately, we were right at budget with our website, and to put anything else in starts to get really expensive. But we're looking probably in the summer, if our revenue stream is doing well enough, we'll go into that customer loyalty program. It's kind of interesting. I don't want to let people know about it yet, but it'll be kind of fun if it does work out the way I think it will. Yeah, we have hotlines in each restaurant, the ones that wanted them, that are systems for phones designated to us that we can call and talk to them. Our drivers, the text message they receive has the restaurant's phone number and the customer's phone number. We've already tested it out where we can actually do a three-way call between the restaurant, the customer, and ourselves to resolve any issues that might arise.
As a part of our market research, we called somebody down in Florida, and he was saying that a simple phone call to a customer is just enough to satisfy them. So even if you're going to be late or there's some confusion, as long as you call and let the customer know that there's something wrong, usually they're very friendly about it. They don't, take any qualms to it. So, yep, we definitely covered that in our market research.
Right now, we really wanted to focus on getting this right, getting the food delivery part of things right. But we definitely know that a business can't survive on one form of revenue alone. So we definitely plan on branching out into other things eventually. But for right now, just food. There's some issues with how we get extra money off of those, and how we can resell other people's food, or other people's items like number 4 diapers, but without an official partnership. So definitely something that we're going to be working on. Yeah, we have a designer working on our flyers right now, but the magnets that we left on the table, and I've got a bunch up here, you can take those. The nice thing is you just go to our website, every menu's there. Unfortunately, we haven't figured out a way to print out every menu for every place yet. It just would get to be a bit much, but hopefully giving people flyers and then the magnets that have our website on them will be a good way for people to remember and see.
And something to that point, we are live, so if you're sitting in your office today, please feel free to order.
That's true. We will be delivering from 11 to 2 and 4:30 to 9 at this point. So, Holly, it could be something that we did midday, just another way to fill in a few extra deliveries, yeah.
Well, that's it for this week's show. Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you.